Welcome back to On Rate Podcast. Here you have Elijah alongside Grant. We're going to get into another week, football season here. Tough loss for the Lions, great victory for Michigan. We're going to hop on both sides of that to kind of talk it out. So I'm not sure what you want to discuss first, but I would throw it to you. It's kind of just great to see football. I know I didn't get off the couch. I probably watched 500 snaps this weekend. So no, I just want to, throw it over your way, kind of just see, which way you want to take it for NFL or college first.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we'll start with college. Very impressive win by Michigan against Hawaii. Pretty much what we expected. Took care of business. It was great to see JJ finally, just be at the controls full time. Definitely took advantage of that. I think he pretty much had like a perfect passer rating. I think he only had one completion. That was a drop. Proof is in the pudding. That's like we just saw, that is what it is. You saw last week when Cade was in there, only managed to score 13 and 1/2 against Colorado State. Following week, throw JJ in there. He had 21 in the first and the second quarter. He had 42 at half. Just that this is what it is. And I'm glad that Harbaugh, like that, I think that Sunday or that Monday was like, yep, like JJ's the guy going forward. So it'd be interesting to just kind of see. I'm looking forward to seeing how JJ is gonna progress. Got like a good another tune-up week coming. This upcoming week, UConn should be a pretty easy W, but the Big Ten play starting next week. I'm just looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was exciting to see him in there. I think I seen a lot of what I wanted to see. He did look poised. The announcers were taking the time. Obviously, they were very high on him in general, but the announcers were taking the time to point out him motioning players into the right direction to stop blitzes, him just having a mastery of the offense. So all that was very promising. And I think I am, I've been rooting for him. I kind of thought he would fall into being a starting quarterback as far as his talent just is that much better. But what really was going to come down to is if he can just not make the mistakes, not make the costly mistakes, I should say. I had no doubt that he would look good versus any of these other teams that we're playing, but he needs to look good, down in Iowa. He needs to look good down in Columbus, East Lansing, or wherever we might be at. So that's kind of the real question, which is still out there. But I mean, with the sample size we do have, he looked phenomenal. I think the first pass was like I don't want to overshoot it, but a 40-yard touchdown pass, right off rip, right off play action.
Yep.
They ran it down the throat first play action over the top, and it was kind of rinse and repeat from there. They kind of just were doing the same thing. It was nice to see, some of the wrinkles that they could have him in there as far as the run pass options. Them using Eric All coming across for, I think it was his second or third completion. I think that's going to be one of our bread and butter plays as far as run pass option. Eric All, coming across the middle as either the lead blocker or receiving, a nice little dump off pass. I can't imagine that not being utilized week in and week out, and going to be very, very hard to stop. He's an NFL tight end.
Yep.
Have
Schoonmaker and Loveland.
Yep. We're loaded at the tight end spot, and Eric All being the leader of that group. He kind of came to his own last year. It's exciting to see him back. Ronnie Bell, just playmakers really all over the field, and we needed that guy that could really push the issue as far as expanding this offense, and it looks like we got him. I'm very excited, and we can't. I'll throw it to you if you want to finish up, but we can't forget about the other side of the ball. Defense doing the thing again.
Yeah.
Just reloaded. We're from top to bottom, we just look good. I mean, even UConn's coach said that we don't have any weaknesses when watching games. So, very exciting time.
Yeah. No, and I think too, just to kind of even talk a little bit more about just McCarthy and what that looks like going forward. I was watching sports podcast earlier today, and it's like the perfect analogy how they explain Michigan right now. It's like compared to last year. Like last year, just like a very was kind of saying like it fit Cade better last year because it was more of like a power running team. We had Haskins, 20 touchdowns. We fed him a good part of the year. He's like, but now we also lost Ronnie Bell. Now got Ronnie Bell back. Guys like Roman Wilson and Cornelius Johnson took like big leaps last year, and they're even taking like going to take an even bigger leap this year. And like K just doesn't really have the arm talent that JJ has and the explosiveness, to get the ball downfield. So like our identity, it looks different. It hasn't really looked like this in a while. I feel like I think since Harbaugh has really been there, it's been just power running game, power running game. Have a you know. Game manager at quarterback, play action, get it around a little bit. This is really, going to be the first time we got somebody. I've said it before. I do feel like I'm confident. I feel like Ohio might be a little more experienced and talented at receiver, but I feel like I can see this team kind of being able to get the ball around the same way they do and have been, kind of like what their identity has been the last few years. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it unfolds. Especially as it starts to get colder and just what happens in the Big Ten. Just playing a lot of these games. Like I just hope that we can continue to keep that like power running game and keep that mentality as well, and don't just get a little too pass happy. So to put a button on that as far as the offense overall, but I think going into the defense now, yeah, I mean it looks like it's going to be by committee. And once again, we get it, it's why, but I just think from an execution standpoint, I'm a little salty that they ended up scoring like 10 points. It would have been nice to kind of see a little bit of a goose egg. One of them was a long 50-yard touchdown. That's tough. They got probably a lot of those starters still in too, but yeah, I mean, you see guys making plays. D line is looking strong. I'm curious to kind of see who's gonna kind of rise from the pack and start to really assert themselves like that top dog when it comes to like, getting to the quarterback. Hopefully, have a couple guys that are able to emerge and, kind of be able to almost help each other, just grow throughout the season. So we'll see what happens though. Definitely got some talent, like some serious talent on that D line. Linebackers are solid, a lot of depth there, and secondary is looking good too.
Yeah, no, I think just watching them, they seem very fast. They're like swarming to the ball. And it's interesting to see like the evolution of the defense because we've kind of, obviously different defensive coordinator, but we were, like that Jabril Peppers position has completely disappeared.
Yep.
We're not doing, we're sending a lot more like exotic blitzes instead of, it just looks more like, you know, I don't know. It just looks completely different. And yeah, it is. That's a good way to put it. It's the NFL. Yeah, you're
versatile while being
dudes,
like
eight dudes at the line of scrimmage, and a combination of we won't be having three come, five drop back. We might be sending six, and keep we don't you don't know what you're doing. It's going to be it's going to be very interesting to see as it go on. I do think we got no superstars yet. I think they're going to continue to make their names, but you see guys on there ready to make plays. Defensive line is, alive. They look good. They look, sometimes they're just blowing people off the ball. I'm excited. I think another thing with the defense is typically never an issue. And they're doing their thing as far as I can't imagine our defense putting us in too many situations that the offense can't handle, where they're just getting ran out of the building, 40, 50 points. So I imagine the defense be able to do their thing. And it comes to, JJ and his live arm, if he can, limit the turnovers. And I think the defense is going to be, here to stay. I think year in and year out, they're proving that they're pretty legit. I don't know. I'm kind of, just kind of interested to see it all play out, man. It's kind of, I was going in last year, I had zero confidence. Going in this year, I feel like I have too much confidence. So,
that schedule, man. I mean, you look at it and it's like, I don't know. Like I said, you already know how I operate. I don't really start getting too excited until about mid-November. Like or even, I mean, and really lately it's been like, we just got to beat Ohio. Like that's really just what the thing's always been. Not getting too excited. But you look at the schedule. I mean, you look at just we finally had that 5-star. Like it really feels like we got that guy just at the controls to like, get us over that hump. I mean, we've already gotten over that hump to where I think we're really like almost neck and neck, with Ohio, and just really able to maybe compete with them on that level. I mean, the defense has improved from years ago. With Don Brown has had us running zone, like man blitz, just like letting us get ate up all the time. Yeah, we just made them adjustments to where it's like I mean, it's a standard, it's an expectation now. I mean, I expect them to go into the stomp out Maryland. I expect them to go into Iowa and handle business as long as the refs stay out of it. I mean, every game, what I'm saying? Like, look at that schedule. I mean, I can't.
No, I agree, and I mean, you got interesting players like Tua's brother, um,
Yeah,
at Maryland. He seems to be pretty good, but it's one of those things where I could see us derailing that team ultimately. If we play our game right.
so we
You
did
know,
last year, like that. Just blow the doors off. That was at Maryland. Like now they here. Like it's.
right.
I mean, the schedule is very favorable. And there's been times in the past where it wasn't. So I think this, when playing a game of football like this at this level, you got to get lucky. I guess that's really what it comes down to. You getting lucky some ways here and there, and we just got to take advantage, man. I mean, I think we could definitely be, whether it's 12-0 or 11-1, with still a chance of getting into that playoff, so we just got to control our destiny.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the last thing I got to say about Michigan, underrated player I completely forgot about is Moody. It's good having a good kicker come back.
Yes.
A guy that's, I don't want to call him sure-footed, but he hit some big field goals last year.
Yeah.
Kept us in the mix. And I kind of forgot all about him. It was good just to hear that name again. I completely, obviously not a guy we talked about, but could easily potentially have a victory to put on his shoulders this year.
Yeah.
That would need to depend on him. So, yeah,
100%.
just one last little thing. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, you see, good segue into we're going to start talking about the NFL. You got guys that was hitting 57, 58-yard bombs, win games. You saw Monday night, they tried to hit a 65-yarder to try to win the game like that. And especially in college where, I mean, even Alabama has trouble getting a good kicker consistently. Like, yeah, it's a very underrated part of the game that doesn't get talked about as much. So, but
Right.
yeah, jump into talk about the Lions. I'll let you start this one off. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of like, oh, moral victory, type deal going. But yeah, I'll let you start off and see what your thoughts
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I don't want this to be like the first segment of just shit on the Lions, but I think, ultimately it comes down to you got to be realistic. And I think, um, I went with low expectations. I don't think we have that good of a coach. I think obviously the roster's in a rebuilding type thing, but,
Mhm.
ultimately, I mean, it made the game interesting. That's something the Lions always find a way to do. No matter how bad we are, it's going to be somewhat interesting games. Just, whether we'll give up at the end or whether we'll get it taken from us. But, so there's kind of more of the same when it comes to that. But I think right off rip, we just looked outmanned. I'll be honest. I think you got to be honest with Hutchinson. He was running himself out of the play. He was looking for sacks. Not keeping containment. Something you cannot do with a guy that's a 4'4", 4'5", capable
Yeah.
40. I give it to him. A couple of those times he would have gotten to any old stick in the mud type quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be able to not run yourself out of the play. You can't shoot yourself in the foot with onside kicks, calling timeouts before half. Just things that are coaching blenders. I know last year throughout we talked. I think Dan Campbell, we put like 2 or 3 games that we lost on him and some just coaching blenders similar to what happened this time around. Right out the gate, just doing stupid things. Trying to be the smartest man in the room.
Yeah.
That's something that we
Overly
all.
aggressive.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
coaches with like aggression. You can't be like that. Like you can be aggressive in play call, but like he literally coaches off of like solely emotion sometimes.
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. You can't be that emotional as a coach. You gotta um, just look at the realism and what situation you're putting your team in, and
Yeah.
the ramifications of every call.
Right.
And it's not a video game. It's not I'm gonna come out here and run Hail Mary every play and do onside kicks. You got to have some real strategic things in there. And I just don't know. fought our way back into the game. Obviously, they kind of, were just running the ball and kind of playing keep away more or less. But I think ultimately it was the Lions' way to lose, coaching blunders, and kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. Couple bright spots, Swift looked good. He looked actually phenomenal. What do you have, like 150 yards? Yeah. So
could have got the ball more, but
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I kind of throw it over you, but, in general, that was like, that was a bright spot, I guess. You know, Malcolm Rodriguez seems like he is going to be fairly legit. Things like that. Now, not to blow the roof off this conversation, but it made me wonder things like, damn, what if we had him and Kobe Dean? We might have a best linebacking core in the league here, but yeah, so best young linebacker core in the league. But no, I just kind of in general, kind of more of the same when it comes to the Lions.
Yeah, I think no, and I say too, Graham. We understand it's week one. You know what I mean? But I could just, the dumb penalties, false starts, holding, drop passes, just penalties on defense. I think Walker got ejected. It's the same old, it is. I think I heard like 3 different times because like right now we're just that like to the media, we're just that team that we're just like a bunch of tryhards that just like, like we just everything's just morals, like moral victory. Like I don't know, it's kind of crazy to kind of continue to hear that, and then you yeah, you look at the game, it's like everybody literally said in the media, and I've heard so far, Lions, always down big and find a way to make it interesting at the end. It's like Lions always down. It's like, what can we do to like not go down big? And I don't know, like Philly's a great team. I think they're gonna end up like really like winning like 10, 12 games this year. Like they're super solid. But yeah, I mean, I didn't love, with 38-28 with like 6 minutes left. I think Campbell went for an onside kick. Now, granted we got lucky they didn't score, but like just like, man, like you gotta just I don't know. I see him kind of like coaching off like a motion sometimes, and like you see all like some of the fourth downs went for last year, just like in our own territory, or just whatever it kind of looked like down in distance, and I don't know. I mean, I like I said, and then you got this roster that's just really bare bone in some areas, and we still trying to improve on too. So I think but yeah, I mean, good effort. They played tough. But it just kind of goes back to just like the same old, same old. Like, but it's also week one, so I don't, I'm just, I guess what I'm trying to do is say, I'm talking about what I usually see. It's nothing different. Like, this is just kind of what it looks like, what it all looked like pretty much all of last year. So you just kind of hope that we can kind of find a way to get ourselves on the other side of the, into the win column a couple more times.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you. And, I don't know. I guess I'll put it this way. I didn't expect him to win, but if you wanted, it's not a 3-point. I didn't expect him to win, and it's not just a 3-point loss. It's how you lost. Yeah. You lost due to shooting yourself in the foot, errors. It's almost worse to lose this way than it is to get blown out of the water, because this is something that it seems to be very. You always say we should just fix this. Just don't shoot ourselves in the foot. But that's the name of the game around here. That's what we do. And I think having a coach that might not have the smarts to realize that, or not coach on emotion, or not. Maybe he's proving that he's not the head guy. Because that's something that maybe the third, and fourth in command would suggest that the head coach would shoot that down in a heartbeat. And maybe I'm rewriting history here, but after he onside kicked, they didn't score. Okay, in my head,
pretty sure it's 38-28 when he tried it, or it could have. They might have scored again, but I think it might have been 30, maybe like 35-28 or something like that. I do feel like they might have been down. They were down a significant amount, and it was about like a 5 to 6 minute time frame. When I saw it happen, I'm like, why did they do that? Because like, no, I don't know. It just to me, it just didn't make a ton of sense. You got this,
and then calling the timeout before half gave him 3 points.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just kind of view it that way. That's just not good football.
Right.
And can he? We're having him learn on the fly as being a coach while he's training young players who are learning on the fly. It's not a good recipe for success. And I'm hoping that as time goes on, other people will come along. I think it's already sentiment's already changed from week 2 of Hard Knocks to
Mm-hmm.
Sunday night. People are already more upset. Saying that he could be coach of the year. I've heard people not talk about that. People, they were riding really high on what he could be and what this could be. But I think, we kind of I see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And I know we talk about this probably almost too much, but I looked up Jim Caldwell's record the other day or on Monday, I think, and I think he was over 500 with us. He was like 36 and 33. So he has 30 more games to win, which is if he goes winless, it'll be at the end of next year before he could even tie with
Right. It's like,
Caldwell.
what's the trajectory? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got fans that are like, oh, yeah, like, oh, man's on the McAfee show. Oh, like, he could lose the rest of his games, forever. And it's like, what's this, we're going to set the standard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't know. Like you said, reality, like, you see writing on the wall. I definitely, it's like, this is what it is. This is what it's going to be. I mean, I think the ceiling, he said before, is like 7 wins. They probably, but I could definitely see like 5. So
It's almost like the NFL. Like, I'm saying this kind of jokingly, but the NFL, they joke about how it's semi orchestrated to a certain degree. Cowboys are good, Steelers are good. All the teams we know are going to be about good every year, and all the bad teams are about bad. It's almost like they want us to be like the lovable clown of the. You know what I mean? Like they want. It's kind of like they with we know are going to get you a winning team, but it's going to be interesting. One of them type of deals like that, and it's kind of like what like some idiocracy type shit. It's like I just don't understand why we have to be subject to this and even play this charades game like this is going to work out. I know the
like,
writing.
I feel like on TV, like the more I hear about the Lions, it's just like participation trophies. It's just like, man, like I don't know, and it's like that, and you can kind of be like, oh, it's great. I'm glad to hear more about. Like, obviously, Hard Knocks was great. Like, that was some great, just publicity just for Detroit and everything. But like, it still just be feeling like, man, like we just feel like that team that just, like with the
Yeah,
crazy coach that, we don't quit. Like, but we not, I don't know. It is kind of a weird, like, stigma that we now have. Because I feel like every time I hear us on TV, it's like, we were the team that was down big but came back and made it interesting. The team that was
yeah,
down big but came back and made it interesting.
yeah.
The team that fought to the end and,
The
took the
team that was up big and blew the lead. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's like it's
so yeah,
no. So I agree. I think moving forward, I think we play
Commanders.
Commanders this
Yeah,
weekend. Let's win with their old school name. And so I think I don't know. I think that's one of the possible dubs I gave them.
yeah,
Uh, I think you don't win this one, people might begin to hit the panic button a little bit quicker. Winning this could, one in 1-2 sounds a hell of a lot better than 0-3. So, I think you win this one, you buy yourself a little rope, maybe get the team behind you a little more. But if you go over in the month of September here, I think the wheels might fall off here.
yeah. And I think because I'm looking, I think we're favored. Like, and
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, I might have to. I'm gonna pull it up here while I'm just gonna start. Yeah, but I think we might actually be favored. And looking at the schedule, you got 2 home games throughout the season. Um, then you're looking at just you got the Vikings. Go to the Vikings, play the Seahawks, Patriots, Cowboys. It gets a little.
Yeah, I mean,
There's some dubs in here that need to be. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
I mean, if you're gonna get anywhere near 7, you got to secure a dub this
you gotta,
weekend,
yeah.
and you got to get the Seahawks.
It's
If
hot,
not, the wheels falling off this bad boy because you're gonna be entering October probably
right?
about 0-6. Yeah.
Yeah, because it does get more towards the end of the year. The schedule does get a little bit more interesting, and it just, you know what I'm saying? Like, but man, you just hope that they can, like I said, them being potentially favorite. I couldn't find it, but them being, I think they're like a 1 or 2 point favorite.
Okay. Yeah.
So
And I
playing
mean,
Carson Wentz, I think
yeah.
definitely seen how he plays. QB, been on two different teams in the last couple of years. Getting dropped off, traded for damn near nothing. So gotta hope they can put it together, man.
I really want so I'm looking at that. DraftKings has him as an underdog, but
Really?
yeah. But I know every shit's a little different. But we're just the over and under. I'm looking 1.5, 1.5.
Oh, because yeah,
Yeah.
that dude shows him at -1.5. Yeah.
Um. Yeah, so they don't really know. But
Right.
yeah, no, I think this is you know you, you would hope to get this one.
Yeah.
This is I didn't go in thinking we'd get the Eagles, but I think if you're gonna have any type of even a moral victory this season, as far as oh my god, we won 6, 7 games, you gotta start with this one here.
That's
And I
right.
think I'm just looking forward to here. I think Big Hutch, you got to put something together here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, yeah, I think just some solid football, not running yourself outside the play, not looking like a guy who's just sack hungry,
Right.
just kind of, playing good defensive end and, not looking like, oh, I don't know, it's kind of, to me, kind of looked like he was looking for one thing only and kind of,
Yeah. It's a
just
whirlwind.
relying on his speed and, not playing,
And it's tough. Like you first, excuse me, first quarterback you see is Jalen Hurts.
I agree. I agree.
Now, and they didn't really spy him like that. So it's just like he was just full. Like I mean, it's hard to when you got just a lot of the good receivers I have too. But yeah, I mean, it's a Hutch. I mean, I'm sure it was pretty difficult. I mean, that's a difficult matchup. To start off with.
No,
Guys like
100%.
but no,
100%.
I agree, man. He got to you hope first game whirlwind. Got some jitters out. Look at some film and just hope that you play the QB that you can really kind of tee off on more. He can run a little bit, but not like Jalen Hurts. So you got somebody that's more like in the pocket and you can really
Right.
go downhill on when you need to. But yeah, try to just kind of stay within. You know,
Yeah, just play more fundamental. Don't be the hero more or less.
Right.
It kind of I'm not just trying to shit on him, but it really kind of reminded me of like a high school like a middle schooler. Kind of like what we all did entering high school. Like you kind of what I mean. Where we were just teeing the fuck off every play. Like
Change that.
uh,
That's a
yeah,
level of competition. Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of a look like where you just I got in the backfield, yeah, but you left the 20-yard gash over, so
Right.
one of
Yeah.
them type of that's kind of what it looked like to me. But obviously we watched him play,
He's a rookie.
and obviously we watched him play a lot. I think he can turn it around, and I just know that was a little as a Michigan fan, Lions fan, second overall pick. I was watching him, and it was just like, damn, man,
Right. No, I feel you 100%.
And
Yeah.
then Walker went and had a sack and a pick. And
I was about to say that. I'm like, man, he showed out.
but the pressure's on, man. The pressure,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like, yeah, he's yeah. Well, he'll be good though. It's gonna
Yeah,
be a
no,
long season. And I looked at the schedule again. Favorable schedule, man. I just feel like, they gotta just even like Cowboy, that's a winnable game. Patriots looked horrible.
yeah,
Like there's there's a couple, gotta steal a couple. There's a
yeah.
couple gems in there. They gotta tighten some stuff
That's
up.
that. Well, yeah, that's that. You got to win the games. You should
Yep.
maybe win, kind of like this weekend. That's the first hurdle,
Yep.
and then you got to start stealing some that you ain't got no business stealing. Like you could have stole the Eagles. You
Yep.
could get one when they don't got Dak, or you could get one when catch Mac Jones slipping or something. You can. You got to kind of steal a couple, but
Yep.
that only doesn't come if you don't shoot yourself in the foot. But
Absolutely.
yeah, no. You got anything else for the people? I know we're going to try to double up here soon. Try to do 2 a
Yeah.
week. Football heavy, and yeah, no, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We're gonna tune in Sunday. Have a little conversation afterwards about the Lions game and start to kind of go back and forth between Michigan and Detroit Lions from here on out.
Yes, sir.